PolicyGenius.com.
Well, Democratic it girl Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez creating a new controversy after tweeting out a Merry Christmas message and implying that newborn Jesus was a refugee. The progressive politician is being slammed for politicizing the holiday, but it's not the only criticism she's receiving. Outgoing Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill with some harsh words about the incoming Congresswoman.
I'm a little confused why she's the thing, but it's a good example of what I'm talking about. A bright and shiny new object. Came out of nowhere and surprised people when she beat a very experienced congressman.
Senator McCaskill not stopping there. She's also calling out Ocasio-Cortez's big government ideas.
I hope she also realizes that the parts of the country that are rejecting the Democratic Party, like a whole lot of white working class voters, need to hear about how their work is going to be respected and the dignity of their jobs and how we can really stick to issues that we can actually accomplish something on. The rhetoric's cheap. Getting results is a lot harder.
Okay, Pastor Jones, I first want to get to the Jesus analogy, and then we'll get on to McCaskill's comments.
Well, first
is this an accurate thing for her to say?
No, it's not. And it's important for the left to understand the message of Christ. They only want to use Jesus when it's convenient for them, and then they got the whole story about Jesus wrong as well.
So he wasn't a refugee.
He was not a refugee.
Okay,
exactly.
Just want to be clear.
But to pivot on this, when it comes to the Democrats, you guys are way too emotional. You guys don't vet your candidates. You guys don't vet. You guys get so
Obama, whatever
invested,
you think was Mr. Cool.
Get so invested in the personality of the candidate.
Drama,
For example,
Obama.
The Guardian just did a article today going through Beto O'Rourke's voting record. Right? He talks about how such a progressive he was. He voted Republicans for the majority of the time until he decided that he was going to be the next president of the United States or senator of Texas. But everybody loves Beto, but it's really not about Beto's and what he will do. It's about how Beto makes you feel. And I think that's the big problem with Democrats.
Isn't feeling part of politics?
Yes.
And as to Claire McCaskill, she's certainly right. I mean, you know, you have to be a moderate in most of America. On the two coasts, not so much. But in middle America, where the Democrats reclaimed seats in states that Donald Trump largely won, it was moderates, not progressives, who won. And Claire McCaskill is a proof positive of somebody who fell victim to the left-wing drift of the Democratic Party. I wish I didn't have to agree with you on that, Lawrence, but sadly I do.
But Dana, we are seeing this far-left shift nationally with the new freshman class of Congresswomen in particular. Is there a way for them to kind of swing back, or is the party in this place, the Democratic Party in this place, where they're really having this struggle between the moderates and middle America and the leftists on the coast?
It's going to be one of the most exciting things to watch in 2019 and going into the 2020 election. Red state Democrats are definitely on the endangered species list. Claire McCaskill has been on this goodbye tour. She's done a lot of interviews. I think that we're going to see a lot more of her. And actually, I think that would be good.
I think it would be very good.
I mean, she's actually quite liberal, but she tried to talk as if she were moderate. It didn't help her win in Missouri. Obviously, she lost. And I think that as a check on some of the newer energy, but the Democrats needed that new energy too.
Right.
So they wouldn't have won back the House without it.
So, Tom,
they've got their intention.
The question is, are the kids, right, the younger Democrats, going to tell people like Claire McCaskill, look, your time is over. You're a loser. I won my district. You know, we're the new party now. We don't need your lectures.
Yes. And Claire McCaskill's playing dumb there. I'm a little confused as to why she's so popular. She's not confused. She knows why she's popular. And she did unseat the establishment. And I think Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez she's anti-establishment. And I think people in the, you know, we talk about the forgotten people and the Trump voter. There could be some crossover here. And I think President Trump should take note, because the establishment Democrats, they don't like these fiery leftists, and I think there's some crossover there to be taken advantage
No,
of.
she says a lot of things that I vehemently disagree with, but she does say interesting things about the federal government. And she was a Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was essentially her mentor, and a lot of people who voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary voted for Donald Trump. So,
as the only one on this panel who probably wants to see a Democrat elected in 2020, I'd like her to just go away, be quiet.
she's not going away.
Well, I hope
not
she
happening.
does,
Nope.
and I hope Nancy Pelosi gets to her and says to her she'd do better for herself to be silent for a while, because she is not either the face or the voice of the Democratic Party that I grew up with, know, and continue to support.
But she's the new face of the Democratic Party. She's 29 years old. Do you think that they're underestimating her?
Look, they're underestimating her, and I think Republicans are underestimating too. You can't laugh at socialism when they start winning. Okay?
Don't laugh.
She's not the
That's
only
what I
one.
say.
Take it seriously.
She's not the only one.
Right.
There are waves of these Democratic
There's a lot of the
candidates,
freshmen
and
in
it's
the
because of the rise on these college campuses where these kids are taught that socialism works. They feel like it works. We got to stop laughing at. But to go back to Claire McCaskill, she is the Jeff Flake, okay, of the Democratic Party. All these people start talking once they lose, and so it doesn't matter after you lose.
Flake
If you're
talked
really
before he
bold,
lost.
if you're really bold, talk before you lose.
He didn't even lose. He resigned.
Yeah.
Well, he couldn't
Because he's
win.
a loser. He
If you
couldn't
saw
win.
his
Okay,
poll numbers
right, but she
in
lost.
Arizona,
I mean, at least when you can recognize
went on the
that.
At least she had the
Yeah.
courage to run and fight it out and lose with
Right.
dignity instead
With
of
class.
retire early because you knew you couldn't win a primary in your home state and then magically think you could win against
president's-
Donald Trump in 2020. I think that Claire McCaskill actually has some legitimate things to offer when it comes to what she's saying about red districts that are red because of Trump
true.
that were blue before during Obama's
Well, I think
years.
also, like Greg has said last week, that AOC says things that are directionally true, which is he said that President Trump does that. It's like, it's not actually accurate that Jesus was a refugee when he was born.
Right.
Was he a refugee later? Yes, when they go to Egypt.
You know,
Right, so they're fleeing Herod. So it's
There's an argument, yeah.
directionally true. It's like not actually, but at this point, who on the right is actually caring about facts?
I think I care about facts, and I think the
But you're
Democrats.
not on the right.
Well, I actually am in the
kind of-
middle,
kind of getting
there are some issues I support right-wing principles, some
No, I
left-wing
know, I
principles.
know.
But for the Democratic Party, what Claire McCaskill said is right. Talk about issues we can win on, not get into biblical analysis and.
I pray to God that
Politics is tough enough to debate. Let's not get into theology.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. We can get into this, though. Up next, are alcohol and coffee the key to living past 90? We're going to debate, but I think we all agree.